In 2022, warehouse workers in California will have bathroom breaks protected by law. Welcome to CNBC After Hours. I'm Pippa Stevens. Let's start, as always, with the markets, where stocks jumped for a second day as the Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ finished more than 1% higher. Now, the two-day rally has put all three of them back in the green for the week after some pretty big drops on both Monday and Tuesday. You can thank the Fed's continued stimulus and bets that China will keep Evergrande afloat for those gains. It was a solid day for cryptocurrencies as well. Bitcoin was up 3% as of 4 p.m. Eastern, thanks in part to Twitter, where you can now tip your favorite Twitter user with Bitcoin. Also in the green today, Ethereum and Cardano. Now, here are some other numbers that you should know today. First up is 351,000. Another Thursday means another update on the state of unemployment in the U.S. The number of first-time filings for unemployment benefits rose compared to the previous week for a total of 351,000. Now, economists were expecting a number around 320,000, so it was higher than expected. California and Virginia made up the biggest share of those new claims. Next up is 382. Listen, if you thought that drive-thrus have gotten worse in the past year, you're not crazy, because they have. A study from C-Level HX found that wait times were half a minute longer than they were a year ago, at 382 seconds to be precise. Order accuracy also dropped by 2%. If you want to know which of your favorite restaurants are most accurate, well, Chick-fil-A tops the list, followed by Taco Bell. Coming in third is a tie between Arby's, Carl's Jr., and Burger King. Finally, 5 million. Believe it or not, Christmas is 93 days away, not that we're counting, and lots of stores are frantically hiring seasonal workers with the exception of Target. The big box store is scaling back its hiring plans and taking a different approach. Instead, it will give more hours to current employees. Target expects staff to pick up about 5 million extra hours this holiday season, and it's even introducing an app to let employees pick up shifts on demand. Amazon is one of those retailers hiring thousands of workers in preparation for the holiday season and beyond. But starting next year, it'll have stricter guidelines for those employees in California. Governor Gavin Newsom signed new protections for warehouse workers into law on Wednesday. Those protections go into effect in January and would limit quotas for workers and even protect bathroom breaks, to name just a few new rules. CNBC's Annie Palmer walks us through what the bill means for both the workers and Amazon.
Governor Gavin Newsom yesterday signed into law this bill, AB 701, that's called the Warehouse Worker Protection Act. And basically what it does is it steps up the transparency from these warehouse companies. So while the bill doesn't call out Amazon specifically, lots of groups are saying that this is really targeted at Amazon. But from the workers' perspective, they'll be able to now contact the company and ask for specific data on the types of productivity quotas that they're subject to. So that means workers are no longer kind of left in the dark in terms of, how quickly are they going to have to work in warehouses. And it also empowers, workers even further in that they can't be subject to these kinds of quotas that don't allow them to take adequate bathroom and rest breaks. This is a criticism that a lot of workers and labor groups have been raising over the years, which is that, Amazon subjects their workers to these basically backbreaking quotas. It's not totally clear how exactly Amazon will implement the bill into its operations, and that's something that a lot of people are really curious about, is sort of whether this means Amazon will have to slow down their productivity quotas, or whether they'll have to hire more workers in order to kind of keep up with the pace of work that people are used to. I think it will certainly empower groups, coast to coast, that are kind of tackling various issues. Among delivery drivers in New York, we're seeing a lot more pressure from local lawmakers to kind of address the amount of tips that they can receive, or setting a base amount for wages. These issues get thornier and thornier as you start to kind of discuss things like contracted workers. We're seeing lawmakers kind of reach out to Amazon and pressure them on their treatment of their contracted delivery workers. So it's definitely something where these companies are going to face pressure for years to come.
All right, before we go, here's one last thing to know. Apple's iPhone 13 models will reach customers' hands tomorrow, and the European Union could quickly make them obsolete. A new proposal would make USB-C mandatory for all smartphones sold in the EU. Now, that wouldn't be a big deal for most Android devices, which already use the standard, but it would be huge for Apple's iPhone because those devices use proprietary Lightning connectors. Regulators say the proposed rules would cut down on e-waste. But hey, if you're thinking about getting the iPhone, you can read our review along with everything else we talked about today by going to CNBC.com or downloading the CNBC app. That does it for today's edition of After Hours, but we'll be back here every Tuesday and Thursday, so we will see you then.